Hello, everyone, and welcome to another My Music. Today, I'm going to be speaking to the wonderful Moon Bride, or Carly to her friends, actually to two people. Everybody else has to call her Moon Bride very soon after the video. Think, whilst you're waiting for the video to end, of your favourite song that has the word moon in it. I was thinking of Moon Shadow is a good one. By Mike Oldfield. Do you remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Running away like the moonlight shadow. And here comes
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
1,000 people have emailed in already to say that obviously their favorite song was Walking on the Moon. Some messy. Anyway, there we go. How are you?
Yeah, mine is probably Dancing in the Moonlight.
Oh, yes, the original version or the top loader classic redo of it.
I think the original King Harvest, is that the original or is that
Yeah, that's the original. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one.
yeah. Most people go, oh yeah, that's by Top Loader. No, it's not. No, it's not.
I have been guilty of not knowing the original of a lot of songs, though.
It's difficult, isn't it? I mean, when you grow up with like a song in a particular era, which is a cover, and that's, that does very well and it's very successful, it's easy to assume that that was it, and then you
Right.
discover, look, oh no, actually, that song pre-existed before. And there it is in all its glory. And I always think it's nice that we have that in a way, that people do occasionally do covers and get them to be successful, and then people can go and discover the original talent behind it.
Yeah, it's kind of fun, like just a fun little nugget on the internet to uncover.
Now, listen, you were telling me just before we came on, which is it, it didn't blow my mind, because I can see by the quality of your mise en scène that you have spent a long time getting your room ready there for vocal
Yes.
treatment. That not only do you sing and produce and write music and do all of those wonderful things, but you also do voices.
I do.
Yes.
Lots of voices like this.
What's the weirdest voice that you've ever done? Just for the fun of it.
Oh, well, I recently did one for a non-alcoholic spirit company where they wanted me to sort of talk like this, and I'm definitely not from New York at all, but I guess it passes. And I recently did one for like an animated it was a kids like training or learning thing, and it was
I thought
an
you were going to say
animated
chipmunk. I thought you were. I
was a
thought you were going to say
raccoon.
tune. Ah,
A little raccoon. It sounds like
every like kid's little creature thing. Suddenly, you go up and
exactly. That's good. I like that.
Yeah,
You even kind of look like a chipmunk when you do that.
I know. Why?
That's awesome.
Why? What is it? What is it about? What is it about that? Our fascination with the voice and those kind of.
Oh,
It's quite a lot of over the topness about a lot of voices as well, which is quite cool.
yeah. I find that in commercial voiceover, there's a lot of you don't always sound as they want you to sound authentic, but there's like a veneer to it that most people don't actually sound like voice people that
Yeah.
you hear on the radio. So it's like this authenticity, but it's gotta also sound very like presented and clear. So it's not quite real.
Mm. Who's your favorite voice to ever listen to? I forget the singing for a minute, but you know, are you like a like a Liam Neeson kind of? I will find you.
Oh, I love Liam Neeson's voice. That's a
Yeah,
really
isn't it?
good one.
It's just
We'll
so
just go
good,
with
isn't
that.
it?
I
Yeah.
could listen to him all day. I like your voice.
Thank you. I've had it all my life.
Very nice. Americans are very jealous of. We all wish we had British accents.
Yeah. Do you know, I've noticed that. I've done some work out in America, and it's weird because you just start talking to people like normally, and they're like, "Oh my God, Phyllis, come here.
Yeah.
Say that again." What? That. It's like that, you know? And
Yeah, you're
it's
like
just,
celebrities.
yeah, it is like that. It is like that. And it's especially if you do, the few times that I've been to America to do work, I was doing public speaking. And it's quite disconcerting because you're used to an English audience who are like kind of like that, you know. Even when you're doing a good bit, you can tell when you do a good bit in the UK because it's like
They do the head nod, the little raised eyebrow.
Yeah, okay. And then you go to America and they're like, wow, you know, they're like really into it. And
That's kind of refreshing, right?
Yeah, and then afterwards you speak to them, you go, did you enjoy the talk? Yeah, love the accent. Did you enjoy the talk though? What? You didn't actually listen to the talk, did you? You just transfixed on the act. Yeah,
you're just paying attention to the dialect. Like, how can I impersonate him later?
How can?
Well, that's just me. That's what I do.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Do you do a good English accent?
I don't know. Like, something that's really hard for me is the dialects between your different parts of England. So I feel like I get them confused a lot. And I'd like to maybe...
Can you do like you know, a bit London? Can you do that?
Is that London is sort of more a little more like that?
That's a good yeah.
London.
Yeah. Mine was a bit more like Danny Dyer, do you know what I mean? It's like it's quite gruff, isn't it?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah?
Which part of England are you from?
I'm originally from just north of London, Bedfordshire.
How very posh.
Well, some people there talk like this, and other people talk like that, innit? So it's a bit, and then you kind of get that bit in the middle. So my accent's kind of a combination of the two of those. Yeah.
Nice.
And now I live in the West Country, where like it's all about cider and all that in it.
Kind of looks like you're always chewing on something.
Always chewing, yeah. And then for a while I did live up in. Okay, there's people in England going to murder me now. And then I did live up north. I did my degree and everything up north in Sunderland, which is like way get canny man. It's all yeah.
I like that one. So I think there's a dialect that sounds very similar to Scottish to my American ear. Which one would you be able to pinpoint that?
Sounds similar to
It's
Scottish.
Like the R's are almost rolled.
I reckon that's probably Scottish.
Maybe I'm just thinking of Scottish.
I think it's probably Scottish. No, because if it was one of the other distinct places like Wales, everything is drawn out in Wales and it's all very sing-song. Yes.
I like that.
That's nice, isn't it? Yeah.
Wales.
And then you have the Irish accent, which is like Liam Neeson and whatever else.
Right,
and then Scottish is more, you know, it's got a
bit rough.
It is. And the Scottish people, they don't even need to say anything, you know.
No.
It's just It's just like,
They just need to eat their Scottish breakfast.
I love it. I'd like to say here and now, I'm not available for voiceover because I'm frankly quite useless. But if you do want a chipmunk, there we go. Anyway, we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about music. Why for those of us who are uninitiated, why Moon Bride? Because it's such a fantastic name.
Oh, thank you. I actually just changed my name to Moon Bride last October after going by my birth name, which was Carly Taich, my entire life. And why Moon Bride? There's a lot of reasons, but to sum it up, I was ready for a change, needed a rebrand, just was really tired of the old name. And I don't know, I really like these two words together, and they have significance to me about just sort of my life, my worldview about being like the moon, which is that I don't believe that I believe in reflecting the light in the world out into the darkness. I don't believe I'm the source of the light, and like the moon, we think of the moon as being this bright thing in the sky, but really it's reflecting the light of the sun. So that's what I do, is I reflect light and I reflect love onto the world, and thus I am Moon Bride.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And I think immediately what comes to mind is that you really should tour with somebody who's about to release a new album in the UK. Do you know who that is?
No.
Bat for Lashes.
Okay,
Natasha
I've heard
Khan.
of them.
Yeah, Natasha Khan, Bat for Lashes, because she loves all of that as well. And I think you just get on like a house on fire, and it'd be great. And also, just think how cool that would look on a poster. Bat for Lashes, Moon Bride.
Ooh, yes.
Doesn't that sound
That's strong?
Great? That is strong stuff. You don't want to go and like be supporting, or something like, I don't know, the Philadelphia Scene Boys or something like that, because that doesn't go.
Is that a real name?
No, I just made it up.
Oh, okay. Good.
By the way, if you're a band out there and you're called the Philadelphia whatever it was, sorry, no disrespect, it's not a great name though. But Bat for Lashes, Moon Bride, that hits on it.
I like that. Do you know them? Can you hook this up?
Do I know Natasha Khan? Personally, no. I would love to get her on here. Natasha, if you're watching, we love you. We love your music. Love to get you on to have a chat. I'll play your cards with you as well, because she does like kind of witchy type cards and stuff. I'll play that. I'll do all of that with you. Be happy to. And Moon Bride would like to meet you as well and come on tour. All right. If you can just, I'll tag her in and see what happens. Now, I loved when I was flicking through the old Insta and I found you. One of the things I loved about your songs is, and I was immediately picked up on the 30 something song, right? Because I'm no longer 30, but I can remember it. It was long. In fact, it was a long time ago, but I can still remember it. And I just loved the kind of honesty in that song. I just love the fact that someone's like being so kind of obvious about it as well, which is that this is a song about being in your 30s. this is the kind of crap that people come up with. I think it's great.
Yeah. Thanks. I've actually had a lot of people be of different age groups say they can relate to that song.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what?
It doesn't get any easier in your 40s and 50s. Or my 15-year-old niece says that that's her favorite song on my album. So
I think once you get into the 30 bracket, then that is it, basically, in terms of the way that your brain suddenly thinks about stuff. Yeah.
Right, like your brain is fully developed by then.
Right. I think for men, your brain is probably fully developed by the time you're 19. And that doesn't mean to say you don't carry on learning stuff and whatever. but the maturity side of your brain is probably
It's
there.
just stop right there.
Stopped, you know. Whereas I'm
I've had a
sure,
lot of I've interviewed some people about, some older people, like, "How old do you feel?" And a lot of
oh,
people say they feel like they're in their 30s,
yep.
and they just kind of stop there.
I think that's where it kind of plateaus. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I think when you're I think and I think the thing is, I think when you're correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think when you're in your 20s, there's still a lot of naive optimism about being able to change the system, right?
Hmm.
And I think by the time you get to 30, you still want to make a difference. You still want to make a change or whatever, but you realize it's the long haul. It ain't
Yes.
right. It ain't gonna be revolution like it was when you were 18 going on whatever, right?
That makes
Do
sense
you
to me.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think, yeah, you realize that what you said, it's a long game. It's, there's a lot more layers than maybe you realized when you were
Yeah.
younger.
Do you what have you learned in your life lately in the last few years?
That's a
That
huge question.
I know
Oh, go finish it, finish it.
yeah,
Like, what have you
it's
learned?
what have you learned lately in the last few years that is now imprinting on your music, which wasn't there before when you were younger?
Oh, what have I learned that's imprinting on my music? I mean, maybe kinda what you just said about, it's okay for it's okay to just be authentically you in every moment, and you don't have to start a revolution, and you're I'm kind of small in the scheme of things, and I don't need to be so important. I think
I
I
love
used
that.
to think I need to be really special and important and,
Yeah.
make a huge impact on the world, and I think I've definitely become humbled quite a bit, and I think that is reflected in my music.
I was talking about it yesterday with an artist called Feline who was on from Holland. He's much younger than me, much younger than me. But beginning to, get to that point in her life where she's thinking about framing stuff in a different way. And I was saying to her that one of my favorite places to realize that is the sea. Do you have a place where if you go there, it makes you realize just how insignificant you are?
Ooh, the ocean is good, that's a good one. I love the ocean and the beach, but, I live in the mountains. So,
Oh,
yeah, the top of a mountain or,
mm,
yeah, you do a hike. You just drive through the Blue Ridge Parkway, which is just this really, really long stretch of beautiful windy roads inside the mountains. Um, I don't remember exactly where it stretches, but it crosses several state lines. But yeah, I've been on the Blue Ridge Parkway for hours and hours, and you're the only car on there, and it's just rolling hills forever.
yeah. Now, listen, if it's the top of a mountain and you live in that area, etc., and
Mhm.
you're a voice person as well, when you get to the top of a mountain, do you yodel?
Not yet, but I'm going to.
You got to do that. You've got to do it.
I don't know if I've ever yodeled in my life.
Yodelity. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that was beautiful.
Thank you. It's. I mean, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Um, yeah, things like that where people express themselves in a outgoing way. Do you think we're getting
Mhm.
worse at doing that in culture? And do you think actually we need to reconnect in some way to, you know, be a little bit primordial sometimes.
Do I think we're getting worse at expressing ourselves?
Yeah, with all this kind of social media and everything else and
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, there seems to always be this filter of, like, everyone's watching, 'cause they are, like,
They
almost
are,
all the
right?
time. We're always on camera. Um, and sometimes I watch old movies or look at old photos and think, like, people just seemed so much less self-conscious. And now because we're all, like, on a stage, we're all, I don't know, yeah, we're just more self-conscious and, you know, societal expectations and norms. I think it's wonderful when people are a little bit loud and weird, but I also that's a whole other thing because people will be weird and just to get attention, because like, that's their
Mhm.
brand. So it's like, I don't know, just be authentic.
Yeah. But it's difficult to know what is authentic, isn't it? That's the thing.
It is.
It's really difficult to know what's authentic. I mean, we were talking about that really with your voiceovers. It's got a veneer, you said, on top of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means that it's authentic in a way, but it's a stylized authenticity, which means that it's fit for purpose,
That's a good
you
way of
know?
putting it. Mhm.
Yeah. I love stuff when it's rough, which is blinking good really, because you know, my production stuff is not all that. I
Mhm.
just put this stuff out as it is. And you know, some people would look at it and go, oh no, you should cut out all the ers and ums and, you know, tighten that up here and put some of, you know, flashy bits here and whatever. And I'm like, what? But why the hell would you do that, right?
Why bother? Yeah.
Why bother? For a
It's a
start, I
lot of
haven't got
hours of work.
I haven't. Well, for a start, I haven't got time. I make too
Yeah.
much content to do that. I'd rather have more conversations and learn more. To. I'm desperate just to have conversations because
Mhm.
that conversations, I think, are where we learn stuff, right? Do you
Yeah.
where do you get your inspiration from? Is it through conversations? Is it through observation? Where does it, you know, what sparks you to go, oh, do you know, I'm going to write a song about 30 something stuff? Is it partly just your own personal experience, or is it partly looking at other people, talking to people as well?
I guess it's a little bit of everything. Conversation's a big thing because 'cause I'm a very relational person, and a lot of my music is internally, it's looking internal, it's also looking at other people, and it has a lot to do with humanity. Um, I'm inspired by books, but, like, for instance, in your 30s, was inspired by a conversation I had with a friend who had gone to the Grand Canyon for 2 weeks to camp, and she was, like, completely unplugged, no electricity, but when she came back and I asked her about how the trip went, she said it was great, but she thought it was gonna be this really peaceful experience, and the whole time she was hiking, she just had these terrible pop songs stuck in her head. So they just
Yeah.
lived there and were, like, festering. So, yeah, it's like, it's almost not enough just to get away for a couple weeks. It has to be a practice to step away and kind of live in this meditative state and unplug, and I think that's a lot of just diving deeper into that song is it's like this person who's finally taking the time to look internally, and they don't really like what they're seeing. They're at yeah, so it's uncomfortable, but yeah, so that kind of explains a lot of the way I write and what inspires me.
And I think that's why it probably hits home for so many people. That song. I don't think a lot of people actually make that time at all these days.
Agreed.
At all. At all. I think we try and get away from things. We might book the holiday, or we might, you know, say, "Oh, I'm going to take a day off and do this or whatever." But we don't. What you're talking about, and as someone that's self-employed, it's an absolute nightmare, right? I always say to my wife, and she gets so upset about it, which is that I don't look forward to a holiday, right? And it's true, I don't look forward to a holiday because I've got so much to do before the holiday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it takes me a long time. It probably takes me, if we go on holiday for a week, it takes me 3 or 4 days before I start to come down, right?
And how long is your holiday normally?
Yeah, no, a week. All
Yeah.
musicians out there, by the way, are now nodding their heads and understanding this as well, because you've all been in the experience where you've gone off on tour, you've come back to loved ones and whatever, and it probably takes you 3 or 4 days to come down from it all. And in those 3 or 4 days, you're probably a nightmare to live with. Just saying. So just go gentle on the people at home.
I can relate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm self-employed too. And so I'm so plugged in because my livelihood depends on me always checking my emails and being aware of what's happening. A lot of times in voiceover specifically, there will be like a last minute job. Like, are you free this afternoon for a session? So like I really have to
Exactly.
always be on.
Exactly. I bet in your head somewhere, here's a great topic for a song, isn't there? I bet in your head somewhere within that, there's times where you think, do you know what? I would just love to be in a point in my life where I can just go, doesn't matter what I'm doing today. Doesn't matter. I can literally put the phone away and I can just, and I won't even, I wouldn't worry about that. I can be completely unplugged from it all and just go up the mountain and yodel. That's what I meant by the yodel, really. It's just that kind of, wouldn't it be nice? It'd be nice to be those people that you talked about in the photograph with the sepia images where they're all going. And it's kind of, as you say, it's not, they haven't taken it for the 30th time because they can, because it's digital, or they haven't, even used AI to change their face. That scares me, by the way.
They haven't
That
even
really
done that.
Yeah, that scares me, that people can, like, you're not smiling in that, don't worry. Oh, now you are.
Don't even get me started on the the way people change their bodies and their faces. It makes me very sad.
Yeah. What are you, before we talk about your new album and you can plug it to the world, what do you think you're going to be writing about in maybe the rest of 2024, 2025? What's kind of permeating at the moment?
I wish I knew that. I've been playing around a lot with instrumental music for maybe the first time in my life, which doesn't mean it won't have lyrics, but I've kind of stepped away for a couple months from the lyric writing process and just been playing more with sound.
Yeah.
Because it's always been so embedded. So I don't really know. I don't know what I'm gonna be writing about.
There's a good question for you. Would you ever consider then actually giving that music to someone else that writes lyrics and say, write some lyrics,
Yeah.
see what that does, and then out of that, maybe then I don't know, it may turn into a collaboration where you go, oh yeah, that
For
means something to
sure.
me, but that doesn't. But yeah, would you be up for that? Would you?
Absolutely. I love collaborating. I love co-writing. I love it when someone else brings me music and asks me to write lyrics on top. I've done that. And what you were saying earlier about cover songs, I'd be so honored if someone ever took one of my songs and just made it their own. So totally not against that at all.
I'm gonna world exclusive here, folks. I'm going to be writing a set of lyrics for the next Moon Bride album.
Ooh,
I'll,
okay.
I'll let you know once I've had the stems and I've played around with it for a bit. I shall.
Sounds like fun.
I
'Cause,
may even do backing vocals, right?
What'd you say?
I may even do backing vocals.
All right.
Yeah,
Send them over.
I might do the BVs, as it were,
The BGVs.
or the
We call them
BGVs.
BGVs over here.
Okay. The BGVs.
Yeah, no,
In
but
the
it's super
cinema
fun.
near you.
It's fun to just approach writing in different ways and challenge yourself. I think I can get a little bit in a rut sometimes if like, you don't want to just write on the same instrument and do it the same way because you're just going to sound the same. Just like you don't want to listen to the same kind of music all the time.
No,
It's good to be
no.
inspired.
It's amazing when people tell me that that's what they want to do, though. There are people in the world that just want to listen to the same kind of music all of the time. There are people that watch the same TV shows all the time. There's some people are born to just find a niche in something and then just follow that niche all of the time. And I just think, wow. I'm actually quite jealous of it in a way, right?
How come?
Quite jealous of it because I'm quite jealous of it because I'll tell you now that I've actually had sleepless nights. This is absolutely true, folks. And if this resonates with you out there, you have my deepest sympathies. But I have had sleepless nights where I've actually had like nightmares where I thought, I am going to die. This is going to sound really morbid. I am going to die, and there's going to be music that I don't hear, and that's a nightmare to me.
Aww.
Do you know what I mean?
I think about that sometimes. Like, this is a random example, but the finale of Game of Thrones.
Right.
It creeped me out to think about the fact that there were people who started that show and died and didn't get to finish it. Not that the finale was great, but just like I think about those things a lot.
Yeah, because you just think there's just not enough time.
There's too much media to consume.
There's just too much stuff. Folks, stop making the music. No,
just pause for a second. Let me catch up.
Let me catch up. Just let me, I mean, it's a wonderful thing. I mean, even today, look, I've been sent X amount of CDs by people. Thanks, Jason, by the way, for sending. But it's great. But it's like, and when you do things like this, people like send you stuff via social media and whatever as well. Oh, please listen to this. Please listen to that. And the thing is, there's part of you that goes, yeah, I really want to. But also, I've only got 28 hours in the day and I only work 9 days a week. So it's really hard.
Right.
Really hard.
It's literally impossible to do it all.
It's mad.
So that's valid that you have that fear sometimes. I think it's awesome though that there are people who are so open-minded and willing to listen to new stuff. Because I mean, I can't tell you how many people have heard my stuff and been like, usually older people, like my parents' friends, will be like, "Oh, I'll give it a listen," and then they're like, she has a nice voice, but it's just not my type of music." It's like, what does that mean?
Which means they don't bloody like it. Let's face it, and
Right.
that's fine.
Fine.
It's just no. It's fine, and it's actually really nice that they're trying to be nice about it. I mean, and I say that because I grew up with parents that hated everything I did in terms of that. It was. I've got to caveat this by saying my parents really didn't like music. They had 4 records, one of which was Beatles, Beethoven, and Bach do bossa nova. That shows you how dreadful.
That's awesome.
No, it's not. How awful their music taste was. And, my parents openly say that don't like music. And you can imagine that was quite hard.
That's wild.
I used to come home from band practice, had the tapes or whatever, play like, this is what we recorded today. And they'd sit there and go, can you turn that noise off, please? There's only so many times you can hear that.
Yeah, it's funny. My mom, she's actually, I think I get a lot of my musical abilities from her. She's got a beautiful, powerful voice, used to sing operatically, but never pursued music and really is so specific about her taste. Very rarely listens to music. And has said that before. Like, I just don't really like music that much. But when she does like it, she really likes it. She loves my music and a few other local people who, yeah. But my
What's your
dad,
mum's name? What's your mum's name?
Joe.
Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, if you're listening, thank you for that. Well done. Okay.
But yeah, my dad, he is obsessed with music. That's how I heard so
Like
much
that.
stuff growing up. So, but he can't carry a tune. No offense, Dad. You already know that. So,
Oh, bless.
so it was a
He
good
could.
combo. I got a little bit of it,
You
best
know
of
what
both
you
worlds.
should do at some point, though, my friend, is you should let your dad, because it probably is his secret wish, but he won't tell you that. You should let your dad play triangle or something on an album. You should
Oh,
do that.
yeah. Well, he did teach
Yeah.
me my first guitar chords. Maybe I'll let him strum a little bit or
Just let him do an opening chord. Just a and then come off from there, and that'd be it. And you go, Dad,
You're
you're
right. Yeah, he deserves to have some credit on needs to be in
yeah.
the album credits.
Or get him to do a spoken word part or something. That would be lovely. Yeah.
He has a nice
Love that.
voice, speaking voice, so
Yeah, let's
yeah, I
do
should do
that.
that.
There we go. Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Let's just, before people go, because now they've heard you and they've got to know you a little bit better, etc. They'll be absolutely dying to go and find out about your music, which is the whole purpose of doing this, after all, other than the fact that, I just like talking to people. So do tell people name of the album, where they can get it from, and then suddenly you can go and see the figures shooting up as they all go off to do their thing.
Yeah, so the album is called Insomni, the French spelling of insomnia. It was released in February of this year. It's 12 songs. I'm very proud of it. It's super eclectic indie pop. So we've got retro elements, we've got very electronic pop elements, some rock, some grunge. It's a little bit of everything. And yeah, it's about sleepless nights and worrying about not being able to hear all the music in the world before you die. Not exactly, but close enough.
It's my kind of album, written
Exactly.
basically about me. All right.
Before I even knew you. How crazy is that?
Before, yeah,
So
it was almost like a connection.
so
Where's the best place for people to get it?
you can get it, it's obviously streamable on any of those platforms, and you can buy the CD at themoonbride.com. Buy
sorry,
the CD.
That was
You can get it in
subliminal.
the UK or anywhere. I ship all over,
Do you? You ship to the UK?
and I ship right from my house.
Does it herself, which
I'll put a
means
little
that,
handwritten note in there for you, some confetti. It's worth it.
I love that. I love little bits. Do you know what I mean? Like, someone sent me a T-shirt today. An artist called Angela sent me a T-shirt, and she sent like this little handwritten note, and then there were like these little almost transparent. I'm trying to work out quite what they are, but I love it anyway. It's like,
Confetti.
It is probably confetti.
Love it.
Yeah, well, there's like little there's little images and stuff.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of hard to see from here, but
Yeah. But
interesting.
it's all very arty, and I love
I
all
love
of
that.
that.
Yeah, no, so many. I think a lot of people will buy from websites of indie artists and not realize that a lot of us are doing the packaging ourselves. We're like kissing the envelopes before we put it in the mailbox.
Thank God.
Very special.
That's the dinner ball this week. Moon, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an
Thank you
absolute
so
pleasure.
much.
I've enjoyed myself immensely. I almost feel like we should do a podcast of our own sometime, because it'd just be great. I mean, we could have guests on.
Sounds fun.
Doesn't it sound fun? Who would be your favorite ever guest?
Liam Neeson.
I know, Liam Neeson. Did you know what? I knew that was coming.
See, we're on the same wavelength.
I thought that would just be it. Oh, hi, yeah, it's a pleasure to come on, and it'd be great. That would be fantastic, folks.
I'm in.
do go and check out Moonbride's music. Please do buy the CD, because that way she can survive. And you know,
That'd be great.
that's important. If you've enjoyed this has been my music. Please do share it with your friends, your family, and everybody else. And as I always say, if you haven't enjoyed this today, that's been 40 minutes we've wasted of your time, your life. You're never going to get it back. I'm just sorry. I can't really say anything more. You can get it. You can get a little bit of it back by going and helping at a homeless shelter. That will make you feel a bit better. Okay.
I love this thought process.
And until next time, bye for now.
Thank you so much.